Hello and welcome to another episode of A Day in the District. I'm your host, Chelsea Whittington. A Day in the District is a program designed to help you, the viewer, stay connected to your Gary Community School Corporation. Today, I am joined by colleagues who have one of the most important responsibilities in the district, and that's transporting our precious cargo on our buses. To my immediate left, I have our Director of Transportation, Mr. Robert Garcia, and to his left, we have our connection, our main connection to First Student Transportation. That would be Mr. Chris Iddings. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, so before we jump into all things transportation, I will share with you that helping with the public relations side of the district, I do get messaging and feedback on all things. One being transportation. We know that that is a critical component to, before we even get to the education piece, we have to get the young people in class on time and ready to go. And so here at the Gary Schools, we've made that a priority in our partnership with our new vendor, First Student. But with you, Mr. Garcia, talk a little bit about yourself and how we were fortunate enough to land you, poach, steal, whatever we did to get you over here to Gary Schools as Director of Transportation.
I've been here roughly, it'll be 2 years in December.
Okay.
Come from East Chicago, I was Transportation Director for the School City of East Chicago. Was there 14 years.
Oh.
Did a lot for East Chicago. We went into propane busing and that avenue to save money. We had a surplus of $4.2 million in there. Then I had a superintendent came to me, gave me a challenge if I wanted to come to Gary. And
you like a challenge, I heard.
I love a challenge.
Okay.
And being transportation director for East Chicago, I knew the challenges that Gary had for years.
Mm-hmm.
So accepted the challenge and came on over. It'll be 2 years in December.
All right.
And one of the things that I seen that was missing, it was that communication between the community and transportation. So I think that we're changing it right now. We have a new vendor here, First Student, and it's going well.
Yes, and so I know that entire process of having to put out the RFP or the bids and then making it economical, because I will tell you, Chris, transportation is not cheap. And then here we are coming on the other side of a pandemic. There is the issue of staffing, timing, school locations. No, I want to stop on my block. No, I want it in front of my house. All these different logistics. But from what I've seen so far, First Student is also up for a challenge. Welcome, Chris, and tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Thanks. Yeah, my name is Chris Iddings. I am the Area General Manager for First Student. I oversee 6 locations, 2 in Indiana, 1 in Gary, obviously, and then another in Boone Grove, which is just south of Valparaiso. And then I have 4 in Illinois. I've been with.
But Gary's your favorite.
Gary is my favorite. Absolutely. I have been with First Student for 13 years.
Okay.
The last 3 have been in operations. Prior to that, I was with the finance team. So I've kind of seen it from both sides, on the ops side and the back of the room, back of the staff finance team. So I understand the challenges that go into the daily getting kids to school. Mm-hmm. And from our point of view, it is imperative that we understand our role in the education process. We are typically the first people that students see in the morning, mm-hmm. and we're the last ones they see at the end of their school day.
Yes.
And that is something that First Student staff, drivers across the board, that's something we take great pride in, and we want to make sure that we're providing safe, reliable transportation for our customers.
I love it. Now, Robert, with you having been with the district almost 2 years, you were a part of the conversations in the process of vetting and knowing what we need when it comes to just having a transportation vendor. And having been, I'm sitting here doing the math, that's almost 30 years of experience between the two of you. So this is not something new to you when you talk about looking at a district, looking at their needs, because I'm sure each community is different. When we were doing that, look at getting a new vendor? What are some of the things that we consider that are important criteria to make sure we have the best transportation options for children?
Well, the main thing was looking at the track record.
Okay.
Looking at the track record, they're in 41 states, I believe.
Yes.
Okay.
They service 1,100 school districts in the nation. Another thing was how they take care of their employees. One thing that all schools and districts in the whole nation, they have shortage of drivers. So that's another thing you look at, how they plan to recruit. Right now they pay their drivers $23 to start. They pay all the way up to $30 an hour. So I felt that they will be able to recruit and maintain and keep drivers here in the city.
Absolutely. So how do you treat your drivers, first
So-
student?
So we do. We treat each driver as, you know, the valuable employee that they are. Like Mr. Garcia said, we offer a starting wage of $23 an hour. We have paid training. If there's anybody out there that is looking to join the first student team, want to be a school bus driver, we offer paid training. It's $23 an hour to start, up to $30 an hour if you have experience. And we're guaranteed 5 hours a day, 25 hours a week. And we have training on site at our facility, so it's everything is done in-house at Gary.
Okay.
So you can apply online at our website. It's workatfirst.com. The application's available there, and again, you can start training, and then everything will happen at our Gary facility with our Gary staff, and then you'll go on the road with our current drivers, and then learn kind of the area, and then they would be on their own from there.
Sounds like a great opportunity. Before we get out of here for our first break, I'd love to know around the licensing. Do you all help get the
Yes.
CDL? What's the requirement? How
Yeah,
does it
so
work?
a driver has to have their CDL,
Okay.
Which they can get from their local DMV. We provide assistance in training, test prep, so they can get on course to get that passed.
Okay.
And then once they have their CLP, which is their commercial learner's permit, then they come in and they join our classroom, and then we do everything from first student orientation and classroom to school bus driver training.
That's excellent. Sounds like a great career opportunity. And I always just remember, and I'm sure you probably do if you caught the bus growing up, having that same bus driver to greet
Yes.
you and to just develop those types of relationships. You are watching A Day in the District. A Day in the District is a show designed to help you, the viewer, stay connected to your Gary Community School Corporation. When we come back, we're going to learn more about Mr. Garcia and an exciting program we're getting ready to roll out. Get it? Stay right there. We'll be right back.
When you join the Army, the first thing they teach you is how to get in line. Not exactly the same in high school. When I enrolled in Westside Leadership Academy and joined ROTC, the first thing I learned was respect. Not just for God and country, but for myself.
Gary Schools, strong, resilient, built for education.
Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life.
Welcome back to A Day in the District, and I'm still your host, Chelsea Whittington, joined by Robert Garcia, our Director of Transportation, and my new friend, Chris Iddings from First Student. Again, I want to thank the two of you and all of your team members, because developing a transportation plan, maintaining transportation, doing all the troubleshooting and changing that's needed on a drop of a dime is not something that's very easy, nor for the faint at heart. You've already told me, Mr. Garcia, that you love a challenge, and I'm glad that you've decided to take the challenge with us. What are your roots? Are you a region rat?
Yes, I'm a region rat, born and raised in East Chicago. Graduate Washington High School in East Chicago. went to the Army, was in logistics, and came out and continued doing logistics.
Logistics. Well, then that makes all the sense in the world, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Off camera, Chris, I was talking to you. You're not so blessed to be born in the region, but we're adopting you. Where are you originally from, and how did you end up here?
Yeah, I grew up in a small town in Illinois,
Okay.
Coal City. It's about 3,500 people, so it's a very small town. Like I said, been with First Student for quite a few years. Got into the operations side, and Gary Schools has been on our list of targets annually, or as the RFPs have come out. It's one we've gone
wish
after
list.
a few times.
Okay.
So this time we were successful, and all it took was having me on board to get that.
That's
over
what
the
it
finish
was.
line.
Boom. You get Chris Iddings,
Yes.
you get the contract. No, but in all seriousness, one of the things, the feedback that I get from the community and obviously parents is safety. So we all play a role, parents, community. We have to have the talk at home to
Yes.
say, here's how we are going to conduct ourselves on buses by being polite, having a seat, and things like that. And then the questions I get, do we have enough buses? Do we have enough room on these buses based on the routes with the children? Is it 2 to a seat? Is it 3 to the seat? And I said, I know what I'll do. I'll have the transportation experts
go.
on,
There you go.
and you all can answer all of those questions about safety and how we configure to ensure that each bus has the right number of students on there and they're safe.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, Robert, and then I'll come to you, Chris.
Yeah, we work with VersaTran, which also First Student works with, is a program that tracks the students where they live at. So we map out where they live at, and then when we know where a majority of them live at, we make a stop in at a certain locations.
Okay.
But First Student has plenty of buses to bus the kids. Safety, like you said, is huge. We got cameras on the buses.
Say that again, Robert.
We
Ooh.
had cameras. We got
Cameras on the buses.
2 to 3 cameras on the buses.
So before they start that whole speech of not my child, we're like, watch the tape.
And this happened, and this has happened already, where students go tell parents, you know what, this happened. Then when we get the videotape, it's
Not
totally
so
different.
much, yes.
But we just want the parents to understand we have cameras on the bus for their safety.
Yes.
But also for behavior issues also.
Yes.
So we just want to make sure the kids behave, and they let the parents know, hey, there's cameras on the bus,
Yes.
so they could institute more discipline.
I love it.
But principals just ask me, or they ask Chris, I need the video for this bus, this route, AM or PM, and they get it.
Now, Chris, for you, weather is also another thing. You know,
Yes.
here in this region, on a drop of a dime, we could have a snowstorm or a heat wave in this region. Talk about some of the things that First Student has in place for those emergency closings, ice, that kind of stuff, because that's what we get the calls on as well.
Yeah, so we work very close with the district in organizing, understanding if there's going to be weather events coming, whether we will need to be at the ready for a potential closing or an emergency release. And Nicole Maddox, who is our location manager,
Hey,
she
Nicole.
is able to, we've got a system of communication in place to where we can get the drivers into the facility and then on the road in case of an emergency. If we need to do an emergency evacuation or emergency out due to weather, we can get that taken care of in a timely manner. And while we may not be able to get everybody in immediately, the drivers are part of the community, so they understand and what's at stake, and they feel like they're part of the community. That's a big piece of what we have
That's very
in
important.
our workforce.
Another piece that I feel is very important and an attractive attribute to the district is our separate or specialized program for our students with special needs. Robert, can you speak to that about the equipment, or you, Chris, as far as having the lifts and the communication with parents for students with special needs who also need transportation and deserve it, obviously?
Yes, the schools will let us know what kids they need a wheelchair bus, so they inform us, any kids that's in a special needs education program. We'll give that list to Chris, and they assign the bus appropriate.
Yes, and I will just add for those watching, I want to give you an inside glimpse on the backside of transportation. Even I'm in a chat group And I know when a bus is running late, a child missed pickup, all those types of things. So I just want to assure our viewing public that there are a lot of hands in the pot as far as just the monitoring of it, the principals. We have our lists just to know where our children are at all times. But we'll talk about that special rollout in a second that connects directly to that. But there's one more question that I wanted to ask around the training. When you talk about the training that the bus drivers get, what kind of person are you looking for? Because I don't think that that's just anybody can drive a bus. What are some of the specific things that make a good bus driver that fit into our puzzle?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we always say, like, anybody can drive a bus, but it takes a special person to be a school bus driver.
Yes.
And what we're really looking for is somebody that has a sense of personal pride in what they do, a sense of community, because it's not just about them, it's about greater good, and then a special affinity towards the students. And what we find is there are a lot of bus drivers out there that take to their neighborhoods, their students, they may not always drive the same route, but they'll drive the same school. So they'll continue to have a certain elementary school route that goes into a certain neighborhood.
Yes.
And they know that these certain kids are here, and then there's drivers also that'll follow a group of kids if they
grow up in the district.
Maybe they'll have them in the elementary school, and then they'll take them in the high school route eventually. So
I love it.
It is all about that sense of community, community pride, and then a personal pride as well to kind of understand your role and how important you are in the student's day to day.
Well put. When we come back, it's time for the big announcement that Robert has been holding. I've been like, just a minute, because this rollout is just so important and very forward thinking on behalf of the district. So when we come back, just know that you will be wowed by this announcement. Stay right there.
I said I'd never join.
Thought living on sub would be too hard.
I figured only the weatherman track storms.
I said my job wouldn't matter.
Never knew how strong I was.
I never thought this would be my commute.
I figured I'd never get out of my hometown.
Or be the one who stops an attack.
Joining the Navy sounds crazy.
Saying never actually is.
It's gross. I don't really want to talk about it. She didn't want to at first, but I mean, it's no big deal. Everybody does it.
I was ready. Totally ready. Because we had been practicing this dance for weeks.
He was supposed to take this girl to this dance, but
I sprained my ankle at track practice.
I hate sharing anything personal. It's so disgusting. For the dance, I let her wear my shoes and she hated it, but I thought she looked great in them.
he could barely even walk.
I ended up taking some pills for my pain.
Yeah, they were my mom's, but
it didn't go well.
If it's not yours,
If it's not yours,
if it's not yours,
Hey, you.
don't take it.
don't take it.
don't take it.
Don't take it. You won't believe what happened next.
Welcome back to the final segment of A Day in the District, and we're just rolling along. I can't stop with these bus references. I'm joined by the Director of Transportation, Robert Garcia, Chris Iddings of First Student, and I'm Chelsea Whittington. And the wait is over. You know that phrase, that familiar expression? There's an app for that. Well, we are so pleased to work with First Student in our transportation department to have an app that has been released as of this week that will help parents to track their children's buses. Yay,
Yes,
Robert!
yes.
This is the answer to our prayers. Instead of just calling and picking up the phone with an irate parent. Where is my child?
Yes,
Look at your
yes.
phone. The bus is on its way. Talk about the name of the app, how we downloaded, how did this all come about?
Yeah, prior to that, just let me say one thing.
Sure.
Gary's the 9th biggest city in the state, 57 square miles, surrounded by industrial companies, train tracks, and construction. So
Airport,
it's a challenge. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a challenge already. But I don't know if your parents understand that.
Right.
With the challenges we get. I got parents call, well, the bus didn't come by. You know, and right now before this app comes out, only thing we could do is call Chris up and say, hey, track the GPS, did it make the stop or not? But we started talking, me and Chris. Now there's a parent view app where the parent needs just to register online, and then they could track their bus. They could geofence the area where they live at, and once the bus gets in that geofence, it'll send them an email or a notification on your phone.
I love it. And this is Android or iPhone, right? We're not going to do that battle today.
No.
Okay. Because I'll say, I'm sure it works on an Android, but I digress. So what's the name of the app? And you said online. I'm sure we'll be putting the link on our website and
Yes.
everything, but
Yeah.
what will we be looking for?
The name of it is First View.
First View. Okay.
First View.
Okay.
The district. We started last week with District View with the administrators.
On the inside, back of the house.
Back of the house,
Okay.
where the administrators, principals could look at the buses and see what buses, where the buses are at, have they came in or not, or were they running late or not. So we started off with that. Right now it's First View. We should be rolling it out, I figure, in the next week or two.
Okay.
But they're still working out some
Just the little
out.
kinks,
Yes,
the
yeah.
technological
So,
kinks.
but it's huge
Yes.
because that's one thing the parents always calling. Yeah, they're running early, they're running late, they didn't come by.
Yeah.
But this is a tool that they could see, hey, where's my bus at? They
And
can
where's
see
my
it.
baby?
Where's my baby? And at the end of the day,
Yes.
where's my baby?
I am so excited. Well, go ahead, Gary Community School Corporation. Now, Chris, are we behind, or how common is this, or are we on the cutting edge?
So no, this is something that more and more districts are getting into.
Okay.
As a company, as we take on new pieces of work, we offer this as part of our transportation package. We typically wait till the second semester to roll this out. We're rolling it out a little bit ahead of schedule at Gary Schools.
Yes.
And one of the reasons we're able to do that is we've got driver staffing to the point where we are confident we can do transportation every single day consistently. And with the First View app, it allows the parents to assign their geofence. So like they can put in their address and they can determine how wide of a area they want to search for the bus. And then when the bus crosses into that area, it'll give them an alert, say, if, for example, you're on the corner of 5th and Broadway,
Yes.
and you want to know when the
I'm
bus...
leaving work,
Yep.
and I'm trying to time it to get to the
Yes.
bus stop. I
So
love it.
if you want to know when the bus is going to be near there, and like say you put the radius for a half a mile, and that is about 5 minutes or 2 minutes, well then you'll know, all right, the bus triggered, the bus should be here in about 2 minutes.
That's awesome.
And then once you kind of we have a team in place as well to where parents can reach out and ask for help with the app. And as far as like the geofence doesn't appear to be working for me, you can reach out to our team, and that name, that number, and email address will be on the district website, and we'll be able to have parents reach out, and we can fine tune that if they're having problems. That way, they'll be able to use the app the way it's intended. Because if you make the circle too big, you may catch the bus before it's coming to your stop.
Right.
And if you make it too small, you might not give yourself enough notice.
I love this. I'm excited for our parents, grandparents, and guardians. And I'm also excited for the district for the simple fact that something like this in place saves time, it saves worry, and it makes everybody in sync to ensure that these buses get where they need to be and everybody's aware of where they are. Here's the other piece that I wanted to talk about before we get out of here. I can't believe it's almost time to go, but Robert, we have activity buses as well. So we
Yes.
talk about our get to school, leave school, but we are very big on ensuring having a well-rounded education and extracurricular activities
Yes.
for our students. And so we've implemented buses that if you're staying for baseball practice, wrestling, volleyball, they have a way home. Talk about that, Robert.
Yes, we have buses now going in the evening. The high school here now, all the elementaries have tutoring. We're providing tutoring and rides home. We try to provide as much aid as we can on the buses, so we have somebody on the bus with them in the evening. As you know, it'll start getting dark pretty soon in the evening. So a lot of whatever they need for transportation, we're here to provide it to them.
Well, I love it.
Wherever they're going.
Well, congratulations on this partnership. Chris, I'm going to just ask you to give a final closing words and remind people how they can apply and the requirements to be on your team to help our children.
Yeah, it's the email address or the website is workatfirst.com. You have to be 21 years of age, have a clean driving record, and be able to pass a background check.
Okay.
Similar to working in any school.
And then you all do all the good training
and we'll
right
train
here
you
in good old Gary,
at
Indiana.
our Gary facility.
All right. And then what about internally? We're always hiring at Gary Schools. I don't know if you have positions in the Department of Transportation for you, but I will just say head on over to garyschools.org and take a look at our listing. And it's good to hear you say, Chris, that we are at a staffing level that's more comfortable than what we've been used to, but we are definitely still looking for drivers.
Yes.
Any final words from you, Mr. Garcia? 15 seconds, let's go.
Well, if any questions, just please call my office, 219-881-5417. Me and my staff there is there to answer your calls and answer any questions.
You're so mild-mannered and patient, but that's what we need to ensure that our children stay safe while you all are at the wheel. Gotcha. You've been watching A Day in the District. I've been your host, Chelsea Whittington, chatting with Robert Garcia, Director of Transportation, and our new transportation vendor, First Student, led by our representative, Chris Iddings. It has been my pleasure, and I thank you for what you're doing for our precious cargo. Please make sure that you stay in touch with us by following us on social media and visiting GarySchools.org. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
WSTG